This week, the president released his new proposed budget. This has something remarkable in it. Actual cuts. The president listened to the voters, or to us, or maybe he just woke up and started paying attention to the monstrous debt. Or maybe not. In the words of Washington reporter Fred Barnes, this is pathetic. The cuts are tiny. Even if they do make all of them, we're still going to drown in debt. But hey, at least let's celebrate that some turning point's been reached where even a liberal Democrat acknowledges we have to make cuts. But if we hope to actually stop our slide into insolvency, we have to cut much more. Will the politicians have the guts to do that? Let's ask one. Utah's new senator, Tea Party member Mike Lee. So, really, will you guys have the guts?
Yeah, we will. We will because the people are demanding it. Because they understand that if we continue spending at this rate, there won't be any money left to spend on anything, whether it's entitlements or national defense.
Yeah, they always say they want to cut, but then when it comes to specific programs that have a constituency, they fight back.
That's right, and that's part of the problem, John. That's why I've proposed a balanced budget amendment that would put Congress in a straitjacket. Once that's in place and once deficit spending in perpetuity is no longer an open discretionary matter for Congress, then and only then will we actually start making the government live within its means.
And explain this 18% cap you're proposing.
Yeah, I've proposed that in each Congress spend no more in each fiscal year than 18% of GDP, gross domestic product, during the prior calendar year. We're at about 25% right now, and that's too much. So if we cap it, then Congress will have to live within its means.
And you don't totally cap it. You just say if you're going to try to spend more than that, you have to have a two-thirds vote.
Two-thirds supermajority vote. And so in a time of great crisis, you could have members of Congress uniting behind something to circumvent that. And that might happen from time to time. But we want it to be rare, and we want it to be relatively difficult.
So I'm looking at the headlines from my colleagues in the media in response to the small cuts that President Obama proposed, slashing domestic programs, jeopardizing the nation's safety because of a Homeland Security cut, hammering the working poor. I mean, that's from tiny cuts. What do you think will happen when you're making bigger cuts?
You know, I think if we were more honest with ourselves, what we would acknowledge is that the failure to propose cuts larger than what have been proposed is what will jeopardize national defense, is what will jeopardize low-income Americans in the future. Because again, look, if we continue on the current trajectory, the one established by the president's proposed budget, we'll roughly double the national debt within 10 years. So if you're concerned about any of those issues, you should want Congress to balance its budget and to take steps to do so now. Otherwise, we won't have money for any of those things.
All right, let's get specific. You happy to cut the entire education department?
The Department of Education is a great place to start. Education is and always has been an area in which the states have primacy. They have primary authority. It is the states that are sovereign in this area, and I think the states would welcome this.
Would you kill all farm subsidies?
Well, I believe in the free market system. I believe we should start walking away from subsidies of private industry. It's, of course, difficult to get that done in one fell swoop, but I think there's widespread support in both houses of Congress, in both political parties, to start backing off of our perpetual subsidization program for private industry, including agricultural products.
House Republicans proposed $100 billion in cuts. Is that enough?
Well, no, and I don't.
It's about the same that Obama suggested.
Look, it's not enough. It's not nearly enough, and I don't think that there's anyone who's seriously suggesting that that's enough.
Would you sign on to Rand Paul's $500 billion in cuts?
I'm still examining that, but my strong inclination is yes. I might disagree with him as to a few particulars, but on the whole, I think he's got a very good proposal.
Now, I really want this to happen. I just can't believe it. I'm sort of new at this. You're new at this. Politics. Really? You're going to make these cuts? They've never made serious cuts. We still have the mohair subsidies, for Pete's sake.
That's right. That's right. We've never made substantial cuts along the order of what we really need, which is exactly why it's time that we push for this, and it's time that we just get it done. Look, there are people all over this country who were reverting to what they were spending a few years ago, and they deserve a federal government that does the same.
I hope they get it. Thank you very much, Senator Mike Lee.